Okay, if everyone would take their seats, we're going to get started. We're all set to go. Steve, we want to thank you for making the effort to be with us this morning. I know travel under the best of circumstances is never easy this time of year, and I'm sure it was challenging for you and your team to get here. So we're looking forward very much to hearing from you and to see your video. Thank you. It's all yours.
Good morning, everyone. I am honored to be here. This program is called Dasher and has been my exclusive means of communication for about 3 years. I control the computer with the silver dot on my glasses. Now that you've seen how I write with Dasher, you can appreciate that I composed this presentation yesterday, because we would be here forever otherwise. You may think this computer voice is sometimes difficult to understand, but I'm sure you'll find it easier to understand than my southern accent. I grew up just outside Atlanta and lived there until 7 years ago. I went to college at Auburn University to become a landscape architect. My work focused on designing public spaces, like public parks and urban spaces. My specialty was in designing places that are fully accessible for people with disabilities, so the irony never escapes me that I am now a direct beneficiary of my previous professional work. When I was diagnosed just over 6 years ago, I had researched ALS enough to know that in a few years, I would be totally paralyzed, unable to speak, and maybe unable to breathe. I was told that it was invariably fatal with an average lifespan of 3 to 5 years after diagnosis. However, I knew that technology existed that would keep me alive pretty much as long as I wanted. I didn't yet understand why someone would choose death over needing a ventilator to breathe for them. Instead of being filled with grief because of my doctor's grim prognosis, I took it as a challenge and something to be proven wrong. ALS is a neurodegenerative condition that slowly makes the nerves that control movement stop working. I knew that I would have a power wheelchair when I became too weak to move on my own. I knew that I would always be able to communicate through a computer, like the great Stephen Hawking. I also knew that compact, portable ventilators would breathe for me when my diaphragm becomes too weak to pump my lungs. I admit to thinking that I had it all figured out 6 years ago. That was until I started shifting my research from how I was going to live to where was I going to live. I was shocked to find out that in my home state of Georgia, there was not a single facility where I could live when the time came that I needed a ventilator to breathe for me. My shock turned to despair when I finally met someone with ALS living on a vent in a chronic hospital. Here was a young guy like me whose mind remained sharp even though his body had failed him completely. I was horrified to learn that he was rarely, if ever, out of his bed, but stayed in a small room that he shared with a 90-year-old gentleman. It had been a year since he felt the sun on his face, and 2 years since he had a proper shower. I finally began to understand why so few people choose to take advantage of readily available technology to extend their lives. The options for long-term care are so bleak that death is preferable to being left in bed, staring at the ceiling, technically kept alive, but essentially warehoused. Out of sight, out of mind. I was determined to find a better way to live with my ALS. I never felt that ALS would be the end of my life, just a change in its direction. Sometimes, it is better to be lucky than good. There is no way I could have hoped to be as successful as I have been. I was still very able 6 months after my diagnosis when I met Barry Berman, who ran a nursing home and wanted to build something brand new that would specialize in younger disabled people. I was a little hesitant when Barry suggested that this new place would be a nursing home. The only thing I knew about nursing homes came from visiting my grandmother. She lived in a really nice place, but it was certainly nothing I aspired to. Barry began telling me about a new concept called a greenhouse, and I was intrigued. No matter how nice it sounded, I knew that it would have to provide vent support and be fully automated so that I wouldn't become a prisoner in my own body. Barry quickly agreed to both, and a wonderful partnership was born that in 3 short years would create the first and, so far only, fully automated, skilled service ALS residence in the world. I couldn't believe my good fortune at having my dream fulfilled by being asked to design the perfect environment in which for me to grow old. As an architect and accessibility expert professionally, with a passion for technology, and newly included as a disabled person, I felt like the offer was a gift for which I was particularly well suited. In addition to consulting with the architects on accessibility, I accepted responsibility for designing the automation system. The design of the automation was challenging, but I would have it no other way. We hired a home automation company to create a customized automation solution that met a demanding set of specifications that I had outlined. I not only wanted to have control of everything, I wanted to make sure that any device with an internet connection would be able to control the system, with no software to install, and no hardware required to be attached. The result is called Peak, and I hope and expect that it will transform the mobility for the physically disabled. My home is fully automated, so once I am helped into my wheelchair every morning, I am independent and able to move freely until I go to bed late that night. I have full control of my lights, doors, and thermostat. I can open and close my window shades, and have complete control of my flat-screen home theater. I can call for assistance or help. All of this, I can do from my computer with slight movements of my head or movement of my eyes. If it is electrical, I can control it. Even the elevators are fully automated so that I can call the elevator and select the floor from my computer. I may be paralyzed, but I am free. Peak is currently being marketed to other healthcare facilities, and I highly recommend it. It dramatically reduces the demand on staff by eliminating the calls for help every time someone wants a light on or the channel changed. Freedom is good for everyone. As awesome and amazing as is the freedom and independence provided by Peak, it is the people who make it a home. I share a house with 9 other friends, and we have people there 24/7 who are like family to help us however we ask. Barry and his administration made it their highest priority to hire the kindest, most compassionate staff. It really is an extended family. ALS does not have to be fatal anymore, and the ALS residence makes the best possible life out of a challenging situation. Until medicine proves otherwise, technology is the cure. The same as anyone, I want independence. Despite my obvious disability, the ALS residence provides the maximum possible freedom and independence, so I have a life, instead of worrying about my personal survival. My doctor told me to get my affairs in order. Instead, I have founded the ALS Residence Initiative, with the mission to inspire replication across the country. The second fully automated, vent-ready ALS residence will open in New Orleans in 2 months, and there are more being planned. We don't have to wait for the future to use technology to provide freedom and independence. The future is now. The challenge now is to make it common and usual. Thank you for your time, and remember, life is good.
Thank you, Steve, very much, and congratulations on what you've accomplished for yourself and others with this disorder. Very exciting to hear and learn that other initiatives are underway, and one will soon open in New Orleans, others to follow. Very exciting. So thank you.